Hello and welcome to part 2 of the cross-keying demo presentation. Hopefully you've gone through the first cross-keying demo. If not, I would encourage you to do so unless you're already familiar with how our cross-keying works. In the first cross-keying demo you saw what cross-keying is, how it works, and why you need it. In this portion of the demo I'm going to concentrate more on the new additional features that I've added to the cross-keying window. So to do that I'm just going to jump right in and do some actual cross-keying. I'll move a little bit faster than I did before. I already have a system open. I'm going to go ahead and click this and open up the cross-keying window. And let's assume that you wanted 20 or 30 change keys to cross. Now you don't want to have to go through and click on 20 or 30 change keys unless you really need to. And luckily with MasterkeyPro you don't need to. I'm going to show you how you could just kind of selectively pick and choose change keys to give you a large amount of crosses. Now I'm going to pick 4 change keys, and then I'm going to go up here and refresh it, and you'll notice that I have 15 crosses. Okay, that was pretty cool. So let me just show you how I did that in just a minute, but I'm going to come up here and save that first, and I'm going to call this file room and save that like that. Now the way I got so many crosses out of just 4 change keys was by selectively choosing change keys that had unique numbers in the first and second columns. So if you look over here, the first key was the master key that was entered automatically by default. The second key I entered has a 5 in the first column. The next key has a 1 in the first column. The next key a 7. The next key a 9. And then if you look at the second column up here on the first key, it has a 2 in the second column, then a 0 in the second column, then a 4, and then a 6. Okay? So then over here I have 1s in the third column, and then all 7s and all 6s on through. But the way I got those was I came over here. The first one was a 5, 2, so that was good. The next number that I wanted for the first column was a 1, and right below here, but it also had a 2 in it. So if I skip that one and go down to the next one, it brings in a 0. So that's good. The next number I want is a 7. So if I go down to the next 7, it brings in another number that's a 4. And so on. So the 9, I would come down and it would bring in the 6. So that's how you could pretty quickly go ahead and choose the crosses that you want over here. Now, of course, you could go ahead and click and choose all of these and still come up with the same results. Refresh that and you still have your 15 change keys. It just took a little more work to get there. I have a compact list button here that'll remove any duplicates so that you can, if you end up checking them like that, that you have plenty of room over here to work with. So there shouldn't be a problem there. But we'll go back here to File Room. I'll click on that and I'll go ahead and refresh, and this is back where we were. Now, what would happen if I added the next key down here that has a 5 in the third column? You notice, remember over here we didn't have a 5. We only had 1s in the third column. So I'm going to go ahead and enter this key right here, and then I'm going to refresh. And if you notice, we ended up with 30 change keys that will cross this new cross-keying situation we just created. So you might say, well, that's great. How can that help me? Well, I'm going to just show you right here. Let's assume that we were keying an accounting firm, and they have several offices, but they have a file room and an office supply room that they'd like to keep locked at all times. But they want to eliminate as many keys as possible, so they want some of their employees to have a key just to their office, and some employees to have an office key that fits their office and the supply room so they can get supplies, and other employees to have a key that would fit their office, the supply room, and the file room. Okay? It sounds pretty complex and complicated, but actually we've almost got it set up. And so to complete it, what I'm going to do is come up here and I'm going to save this one we just did. I'm going to call it Supply Room. Okay? So I have the file room here, and I'll refresh that and show you that we have 15 crosses that fit the file room. And then on the supply room we have 30, and it includes the first 15 and an additional 15. Okay? So what I want to do now, we need to get the pinning information in our reports, but I want to demonstrate one more feature, and that's the show notes. And I'm going to come up here to File Room, and I'm just going to enter a description here. And AA1 through AA15 are the keys that will fit this. Now you'd probably put a better description here, but for my demonstration this will do just fine. You can come up here, you notice a drop down list, and you have a quick save button. You can quick save any notes so that it won't ask you the file name again. And I'm going to do the same here for the supply room. And AA1 through AA30 will operate this key. Okay, so I got that saved, and hide the notes. Okay, so we've gone ahead and saved our crosses, and we've gone ahead and saved a note with each cross. So now I'm going to come back over here to my report, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom of the crosses, which is number 30. And I have the supply room selected here, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click copy, and that's going to copy the pinning information for the supply room. And then, like I say, I'll bring it over here and right click on my mouse and paste it so that it comes right below AA30. And again, this information shows you the name of the cross keying name that you named it over here in the list. Gives you your bottom pins and your master pins to put in, and a description that tells you what keys fit it. AA1 through AA30 will fit this supply closet. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up here a little ways. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click File Room, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Copy to copy the file room pinning information. And I know it goes down from AA1 through AA15, so I'm going to put my cursor over here again, right click, and I'm going to paste. Okay, now I've pasted the file room pinning information right below AA15 because AA1 through AA15 will operate that, and the pinning information for the supply closet down here. Now these keys down here below that haven't been crossed with anything, so let me just go ahead and close this report out and expand this a little bit, and I'll sum this up for you. If you have someone who has an office, or you just want them to have an office key only, you're going to use one of these down below here, AA31 on up to AA57. Then if you want to have someone that has access to their office and the supply room, you're going to use one of these keys in this area right here, because they will fit their office and the supply room. Now if you want someone to have access to their office, the supply room, and the file room, you're going to want to use one of these AA1 through AA15. Okay? And that's it as far as that goes. And then of course I like to save my reports. When you do a custom report like that, I like to save it down here on the pinup bar. We'll save one, and it shows up right here. So next time when you are working on this system, you can open that up. You can type additional information in here, type more, click save, and it'll always be there for you. So I hope this cross-keying presentation helped you, and you can put it to use on your next job.